Why be easy when you can just die? Woo! Well, I'm Chewy Mew, and welcome to my channel, but more specifically, welcome to another Chewy Mew video, where today I'm going to be taking a look at another custom, and it's also using the ToyBiz Marvel Legends Urban Legends box set-ish Spider-Man. So this is technically not the Urban Legends box set Spider-Man, this is actually the Spider-Man Classics Sneak Attack Spider-Man, or also triple threat or triple attack Spider-Man. It's been used for a bunch of bodies. But this one here, specifically I think it's the, what did I call it? Sneak Attack Spider-Man. Basically, they all use the same body here. This is the, this one here is actually the Urban Legends. The way you can tell the difference is the Urban Legends has a lighter red and lighter blue. This one is customized. And then the triple threat or triple attack has the darker blue and darker red. That's how you can tell the difference. And then there's like a metallic one that is, I don't know what the metallic one is. I think it's like he shoots like discs or something. I'm not too sure. But either way, you can see the difference here. I don't know why this one looks taller. Maybe their height difference as well. I don't know. But this one is obviously a custom Ben Reilly, also known as Sensational Spider-Man. Fun fact, did you know that Ben Reilly SPider-Man, as far as in the comic books, he's called Sensational Spider-Man? Like when he took over the mantle of Peter Parker, when Ben Reilly became Spider-Man for a while, Peter Parker and Mary Jane went to Oregon, a place in the United States, to live and have a life, and then Ben Reilly became Spider-Man. And they're trying to make you think, oh man, maybe Ben Reilly's going to be the new Spider-Man forever and ever. But no, Peter Parker came back, as you do. I was going to say he came back. No, he came back. And so this custom is based off of that design of this suit when Ben Reilly took over. And the reason I use this body is because I had two of them, and this blue I feel like it matches Ben Reilly a bit more than the other color blue. And so, let's address the elephant in the room, and that is that the Spider logo looks horrible. The one on the back looks even worse. The one on the front looks really bad. Yeah, that's definitely not my finest work. But as far as the head sculpt, I didn't really paint it. He just, had some paint missing on the eyes, so I did repaint it, but I didn't paint like a different design on it. I just painted over the parts that were kind of fading. I think it looks fine. As far as the Spider logo, yeah, the Spider logo looks really terrible. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. And then, like, the parts go over onto the shoulder here. So I repainted the entire torso part red because the original Peter Parker's suit is blue here. It has, like, blue on the ribs. I didn't paint the web lines on it because then the Spider logo would not be visible at all. You do see some Spider web lines from the original version, but painting this on, that's how it looks like that. And the cool thing is, since the butterfly joints already had red, when you bend them, the paint, there's no paint that rubs off. The paint does rub off, but it's painted red, so it's not noticeable. And then I painted the arms all blue here, a navy blue color that matches the legs. I did repaint the legs, but they're mostly the same color blue, so it's not really that noticeable. I sculpted these web shooters from scratch, and they look kind of bad. This one looks a bit better. Let's look at this hand, actually, because it looks better. Then you can see I painted the inside of the hands and everything blue. When you do bend the fingers, the paint does rub off a little bit, so that's unfortunate. But the pinky, thumb, and index finger are all supposed to be, you know, like they're supposed to be the red with the web lines on it, and then the other fingers, the two in the middle, are supposed to be blue. The pelvis area, just repainted the blue the color. On the back, this part is still the same. And then the red, I had to mix a bunch of colors to make this red match, which I think it looks decent. The legs, nothing has been changed as far as the thighs and stuff. The leg here, I painted all of this part red, and then I added these web lines here. They're a little bit thicker than the other one, and they don't look the cleanest. I feel like this custom looks kind of terrible. And then I painted the inside part of this blue and stuff, and then the foot blue. And then the toe joints, it doesn't rub off the paint. It doesn't rub off the paint just because the way the toe joints are done. And then when you rotate this, nothing rubs off. When you hinge this, the paint rubs off, but it's mostly red anyway, so it's not too noticeable. Obviously, the knees, there's no paint rub because they're not really changed any different. The elbow joints, this part, I think this part was blue anyway, so there's no rub there either. The ab crunch, again, same thing. So this figure has, like, no paint rub except on his two fingers when you do the whipping hand like this, just because the nature of the way it's painted. But crazy enough, despite how sloppy and lazy that I feel like this custom looks, I feel like this is probably one of my worst customs ever. Like as far as just the shoulder to the fingers, that's really good. The web shooter's kind of bad, but all of that's good. The head's good. Everything below the waist is really good, but just the torso, the Spider logo on the torso just looks horrible. Like, I could totally do a lot better, probably. I don't know why it came out looking so bad. I don't know how it came out looking so bad. just in the camera like that, it doesn't look terrible. But if you take it and look up close, it looks kind of bad. But once you get him in a pose or something, this arm is feels like it's going to break there. Or is it this one? But once I get him in a pose, like the pose I had him on the shelf was, I had him in a pose like this kind of, arms crossed, hands in front. And then he was like hanging upside down, kind of like an upside down hanging pose, except he was like this, like he was hanging from the foot. It's kind of like he's like falling down like this while shooting a web, which I think that looks pretty cool. And if he's like this, you don't notice how atrocious the spider logo is. But if you have him in any pose where you see the spider logo, it looks kind of bad. Let me know if you think this looks terrible, because I think this is honestly probably one of my worst customs. Like only the chest is. The head, like I said, the head's fine. Everything below the waist is fine. The shoulders to the fingers is fine as well. There's some paint rub here and there, but all that stuff is, that's kind of gonna happen. But the torso, the way I did the design just looks bad. You can tell who it's supposed to be, but it doesn't look the best, But yeah, that's pretty much all for this custom. I think it looks good for the most part. Just the logo, it's not the best. But let's go over articulation, because the articulation on this guy is really good. Partially why I used the body was because I had two of them at this point, and I figured, I'm gonna have, this is basically gonna be like this is sort of like my main non-web sculpted Spider-Man. My main Spider-Man is I think it's either Sinister Six Spider-Man or Spider-Man Classic Series 1 or Fearsome Foes or Snapshot. Never mind, I don't have like a main one. Like him, Fearsome Foes, and Snapshot are all like at the front, along with one of the Spider-Man 2 figures. But this guy being like sort of the main non-painted Weblines Spider-Man, I feel like these two go together, that Peter Parker and Ben Reilly both have like the same body, because they're effectively, like the same human being. As far as like the musculature and everything, they're the same human. So them looking the same, it's kind of fine. But, like these two go together in a little bit. Why does this one look taller? Like, I'm not crazy, right? This one does look taller. Like, if we look at the shoulders, he looks taller. If we put the legs flat, he looks taller. But either way, that's why I use this body. And also the articulation, this is perfect ToyBiz articulation. The only possibility he's missing is like having two hinges in the neck. Some ToyBiz figures had that, like Sinister Six Spider-Man. My neck is broken on Sinister Six Spider-Man. But as far as the head, he can look up all the way. He can look down all the way. It rotates all the way around. This head is a bit loose. I got this in like 2004, so it's been played with a decent amount. The ab crunch bends forward pretty good. It bends back, also pretty good. The arms go all the way up, all the way down, all the way around here. He has the butterfly joint that is really good. One of the best butterfly joints. It goes back pretty far. Goes forward a pretty good amount as well. You have a bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, which the paint doesn't rub like I showed. It does rub here, but not on the actual elbow. Rotation here in like the forearm, a hinge in the wrist. You do the flipping hand here with barely any paint rub. That's pretty cool. Yeah, the paint rub's there. I didn't think I would even bother painting it because the paint was going to rub anyway. He has a waist swivel that's really good. He can do the splits. He can actually go slightly past the splits. His leg goes back a little bit. It does kind of go back a little bit at an angle. That's about how far you can get it to go back before he kind of likes having it go out to the side like that. The legs kick up all the way. I did actually modify the pelvis because mine broke open during this custom. Because playing with it and stuff, the pelvic joint here, like the pin on here broke, so I just added like some dried paint to seal it. Thigh swivel here from the ball joint. Double bend in the knee. And it says the date here on the foot. 2003 Marvel Entertainment, made in China, ToyBiz Worldwide, 2003. Then you get a boot cut here, pretty good. You get an ankle pivot that's not the best, but it's okay. Then the foot goes all the way forward, all the way back, and you have the toe joint that goes up and down. And he has peg holes on the feet that work with ToyBiz bases. But I don't have any ToyBiz bases near me. I think all of them are currently being used. But yeah, I can put them on a base there. And I think he looks pretty cool. Just the logo on the chest I feel like looks kind of bad. Like, I mean, it's fine. Like, if I have him posed on a shelf and he's like over there, it's not too noticeable. But when you really take a moment to analyze it, it just, like, the legs are just straight lines that go out. It doesn't have, like, the curvature, like how Spider-Man logos, we use this one. I mean, this is a back logo, but it's supposed to have, like, the legs have points. They have, like, a right angles, like sharp corners, like you can see at the top there. This one, the design is different. I don't have any figures that have that design, but, I mean, I kind of do. Like, this design here is a bit reminiscent of how it kind of should look. It should kind of look like this. Like, that's kind of how it should look a little bit. And I failed miserably at it, but I think it's fine. I do have the Hasbro Ben Reilly, and the logo on the chest doesn't look any better. I don't know where it is. Actually, I'm going to do a separate video that's like a versus between this one and that one. That would be cool. Comparing my mediocre custom to a mediocre Hasbro figure. But either way, that's over this video. Let me think about this custom, and I will see you guys in the next review. Wow.